Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Gorgonzola cream sauce. That's right, 'tis the season for rich creamy sauces, and there seems to be a little confusion about what exactly is a cream sauce, and how is it different from a white sauce, and this bechamel you keep talking about. And while there's many things that it's okay to be confused about, like why are there so many Real Housewife shows, one thing you shouldn't be confused about is cream sauces. Okay, so let me show you how to do one, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be shocked at just how easy it is. So step one, because we're doing a Gorgonzola cream sauce, we're going to prep some Gorgonzola. And by prep, I mean crumble. And for that, we're going to use some good old-fashioned fork-on-fork action. We're going to take 2 forks and we're going to crumble that cheese. And to make this easier, you can pop that cheese in the freezer for about 10 minutes like I did. And it really crumbles a lot easier. And you can use your fingers, but Gorgonzola is super sticky. And you will get the dreaded BCF, blue cheese fingers, which is an affliction we've covered in previous videos. But this works great, so we're going to crumble that up. We're going to set that aside. And it's on to the how to make a cream sauce portion of the program. So we're going to place a heavy skillet on medium heat, and we're going to pour in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And we're going to bring that up to a simmer, and we're going to reduce that, stirring occasionally, about half until it slightly thickens. And your cream sauce is done. Any questions? And that sounds like a joke, but it's really not. A true cream sauce is nothing more than reduced cream. It's not thickened with any roux or cornstarches or anything like that. By the way, in the restaurant, we're doing this on high heat. It's boiling like crazy. It only is going to take like a minute or two. But at home, we have the luxury of time. So don't feel like you have to rush this. But anyway, keep simmering it on medium until its viscosity resembles this. All right, so you can see it's not super thick. It's just reduced and thickened up slightly. And at that point, our cream is ready for our pasta, which ideally you're boiling right now, right next to it. And while we're waiting, we might as well season it up a little bit. I'm going to go with a pinch of salt, not too much. The cheese will add salt, so we'll adjust for that later. Also a little black pepper, a little shake of cayenne. Give that a stir. And then, like I said, all we're waiting for is the pasta. So try to time the pasta for being done shortly after your cream sauce has reduced. And really anything's going to work, but for a Gorgonzola sauce, I really like a stuffed pasta like a tortellini or a ravioli. I'm going to try this sample of mini ravioli that apparently have some kind of squash filling. So we'll see how those are. But like I said, I think any stuffed pasta is going to work beautifully with this. So we're going to cook our pasta. We're going to add it to our reduced cream. We're going to put our heat on low, and we'll give that a mix. All right, so our cream is hot. Our pasta is obviously hot. Like I said, our gas is on low because we want to make sure everything's nice and hot when we add our cheese, which is the next step. So we're going to go ahead and dump in our Gorgonzola crumbles, and we're going to mix that in. And just keep tossing that over low heat until it disappears. And by the way, at any point you're doing this, you want to thin that out with some reserved pasta liquid, that boiling water. Just drizzle a little in, and that works perfectly to adjust the texture of your sauce. And it really is okay if it seems a hair thin in the pan, because as soon as you serve this up in your bowls, it really does tighten up as it cools. And then once our Gorgonzola has melted in, or virtually melted in, it's okay if there's still a few unmelted crumbles. Those are going to melt. But at this point, we're going to give it one last taste for salt. You are, always have been, and always will be the boss of your sauce. So just those seasonings. And at that point, we're going to finish off with a little bit of freshly chopped Italian parsley. Or you want to turn your heat off at this point. And I do like to finish with a little dusting of Parmesan. I know there's Gorgonzola in it, but I do like that extra little hint of saltiness, that little bit of nutty savoriness that Parmesan always adds. So I'm going to grate some of that in. I'm going to stir that in. And we are ready to dish this up. Make sure you use warm bowls. And you can see that amazing creamy Gorgonzola sauce enveloping that pasta. And yes, it's a very rich sauce, but there's not a ton of it. It's just barely coating the surface, and that would be absolutely fantastic just like that. But we're going to autumn this up a little bit with some sweet diced apples and some crunchy toasted walnuts, a little bit of parsley, and that is done. Mini squash ravioli with a Gorgonzola cream sauce. And by the way, if you think I'm nuts for putting nuts on my pasta, I think you're nuts for not putting nuts on your pasta. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Because it really is delicious, that little bit of crunch with that sweet apple, just a perfect balance with that rich Gorgonzola cream sauce, just a beautiful autumn pasta, and I thought it would make a great excuse to show you just how basic and simple a real cream sauce is. And again, there's only a couple ingredients in this, so there's not a lot to screw up. So I really do hope you give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info, as usual. And as always, enjoy.